So whether you're a scientist or not, you can always ask interesting questions to get into an interesting discussion with a scientist. For example, I suggest ask a scientist, why is there anything and not nothing? Because that's one of the big questions of cosmology. Yeah, why is the universe here? 100 years ago, Albert Einstein and all the leading cosmologists would believe that the universe exists from eternity into eternity, has no beginning and no end. And then a lot of evidence came together that we are persuaded now that the universe has a beginning. But we know actually from physical reasoning that if something is there that was not there before, there must be a cause to it. We always reason like that in physics. And so if the universe has a beginning and is there from some point in time and was not there beforehand, the question is, what made it exist? Was it some kind of quantum fluctuation, or was it a transcendent cause? And unfortunately, because of principal limits, we cannot really find out by scientific means. But if you look at the universe, it's quite plausible that it's not self-explanatory, but it needs a cause beyond. And so that's the next question that you could ask. Have you ever heard about the fine-tuning of the universe? That there are a lot of factors in the universe that fit to a very high degree, actually, that we human beings can exist. This is called the fine-tuning argument. And whenever you find something that is exactly fit for you, like think you are riding on a ship and the ship gets shipwrecked, and then you land on an island and suddenly you arrive at a restaurant which serves your favorite dish and your favorite music is playing and so on, you might have some questions. Did someone prepare that for me? Is there someone who expected me to come, or is that just a pure accident? And so we are in the same situation actually with regard to the universe, that we see that. So that's another good question. And then there are more questions like why can we describe the universe in mathematical terms? Why does the universe follow logical, rational laws actually that we can describe? I mentioned that in another question already, why that is the case. And then the next good question is, why is all life based on information? Information usually always comes from an intelligent sender, from someone who has or is a mind. Information is not produced by purely chance and necessity and so on, and random processes. So this is another question, because all life is based on information. Another question is, why are all the organs of living beings and living beings themselves, why do they exhibit purpose? If something exhibits purpose, usually you are quite sure that there is someone with a purpose behind that, like an intentional being, like a person. And then the next question is, why is it that we as material beings actually have a consciousness? Why can we experience the color red, for example, or pain, or Beethoven's symphony or something? We can measure what happens in our brain, electric currents, magnetic fields, chemicals moving around, but nowhere do we see the color red, nowhere do we hear the music that we actually experience. So why are we conscious experiencers? And this is actually another pointer towards a spiritual, a mental reality that is not reducible to material processes only. So these are good questions that you can ask scientists in order to have a good conversation. But of course, you should read some good books about that. For example, by mathematics professor John Lennox from Oxford, who wrote a book, Cosmic Chemistry, and so on. And then you will have good arguments and good information to even give answers to these questions.